Hoàng ưu tư khát khao trong tim tháng ngày. Theo mưa rơi lạnh cam, từng đêm anh nghe xót xa, em ơi có ơi. Giữa bóng tối chập trùng, tình anh như giấc mơ, xanh bao hy vọng. Dẫn lối bước anh về, dìu em qua đám cây. Xưa mây đen tan nhanh, trời bừng tia nắng tươi, lung linh ấm lòng. Khi cơn mưa vụt qua, tình yêu đưa ta thoát cơn phòng ba bao giờ. Khối lấp những đêm dài, mặt trời luôn chiếu soi cho em yêu đời. Xóa hết những nghi ngờ, tình yêu như khúc ca. Từng vòng tay chạm hơi ấm, rộn rã đôi tim mừng vui gặp gỡ. Trong ngày mới nắng say tình giấc ngọt lớn. Nắng lên qua hàng cây, gió mơn màn đưa lại lời thần thương. Bước chân vui hạnh phúc, nắm tay ta về vùng trời bình yên.
A new report shows how world leaders, powerful politicians, billionaires, and others have used secret accounts to hide property worth trillions of dollars. The report by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, ICIJ, brought promises of tax reform and demands for resignations and investigations. Explanations and denials from those targeted followed. The investigation, named the Pandora Papers, was published Sunday night. It involved 600 journalists from 150 media groups in 117 countries. The reporters examined accounts based in traditional island havens like the British Virgin Islands, Seychelles, Hong Kong, and Belize. But the investigation also found such accounts hidden in less expected places, including the U.S. states of South Dakota and Florida. Tax advisors helped the world's wealthiest and most powerful people hide their ownership of the properties to avoid tax requirements. While many of the accounts are legal, they are ethically questionable. Critics say the property owners should have paid taxes on their sales and purchases. Sven Giegold is a member of the European Parliament. He said, "Global tax evasion fuels global inequality."
Oxfam International is a British aid group. In a statement, it said the missing tax dollars result in fewer public projects, like hospitals and schools. This is where the pay packets sit of all the extra teachers and firefighters and public servants we need, Oxfam wrote. Some of the owners published in the report include former British Prime Minister Tony Blair and King Abdullah II of Jordan. Other names were Czech Prime Minister Andrej Babiš, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, Ecuador's President Guillermo Lasso, and close contacts of Russian President Vladimir Putin and Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan. The report follows from an earlier investigation called the Panama Papers. The Panama Papers showed the true owners of secret bank accounts in places such as the American state of Nevada, the British Virgin Islands, and Singapore. The ICIJ says the Panama Papers led many politicians to leave office, and countries around the world to demand over $1 billion in unpaid taxes.
Mang ngôi từ khát khao trong tim tháng này, theo mưa rơi lạnh cam, từng đêm anh nghe xót xa. Em ơi có hay giữa bóng tối chập trùng thì ngày như giấc mơ xanh bao hy vọng, dẫn lối bước anh về dìu em qua đám cơn. Xưa mây đen tan nhanh, mặt trời bừng tia nắng tươi lung linh ấm nồng. Khi cơn mưa vụt qua, tình yêu đưa ta thoát cơn vòng mà bao giờ. Khuya lắm những đêm dài, mặt trời luôn chiếu soi cho em yêu đời, xóa hết những nghi ngờ, tình yêu như khúc ca.
After Sunday's report, the European Commission said it will propose new laws that will make it harder for people to avoid paying taxes. The newest report covers activity from as long ago as the 1970s, but most is from the last 25 years. The ICIJ shows that King Abdullah created over 30 companies from 1995 to 2017 to secretly buy 14 homes worth more than $100 million. One is a $23 million property on the California coast. In a statement, the king denied any wrongdoing and said the secrecy was necessary for security reasons. King Abdullah's lawyers said he is not required to pay taxes under his country's law. They also said most of the companies and properties are not connected to the king or no longer exist. They did not provide details, however. The report also detailed a purchase of a company by former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. He took over a building in London, valued at almost $9 million. But instead of buying the building, Blair purchased a company that owned the building. The company was owned by a politician from Bahrain. The investigation showed this saved the Blairs more than $400,000 in taxes. The Blairs said they did not know who owned the company, which they said is now closed.
Another property deal in Britain is being studied. The Pandora Papers report looked at a purchase of a building valued at $91 million by the Crown Estate, a property business owned by Queen Elizabeth. The Guardian, a British newspaper, said the purchase should be investigated for possible money laundering. The building was owned at the time by Ilham Aliyev, the president of Azerbaijan. Aliyev has been accused of corruption during his term, which started in 2003. President Khan of Pakistan is not accused of any wrongdoing. However, officials close to him, including the country's finance minister, Shaukat Fayaz Ahmed Tareen, are accused of hiding millions of dollars in wealth in secret companies or trusts. In reaction, Khan said his government will investigate every Pakistani citizen, named in the papers. The ICIJ report also showed Babiš of the Czech Republic put $22 million into a company so he could buy a large home in southern France in 2009. He did not document the company or the home as required by law. Babiš said he did nothing wrong and that the report came out just in time to hurt him before the Czech election later this week.
Critics worldwide said weak laws that allow wealthy people to avoid taxes are the true problem. Cory Doctorow is a writer and activist. He wrote about the news on Twitter, noting, "The legality is the true scandal," and called the companies that hold the costly properties a fiction. Gabriel Zucman, an economics professor at the University of California, Berkeley, believes the solution is easy to understand. Ban corporations with no economic substance whose sole purpose is to avoid taxes or other laws. U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio said the laws, as they are currently written, permit wealthy elites to avoid paying their fair share, while working families are forced to make up the difference. I'm Dan Friedell.
And I'm Caty Weaver.
Mây lang thang buồn trôi, nàng mang ưu tư khát khao trong tim tháng ngày. Theo mưa rơi lạnh cam, từng đêm anh nghe xót xa, em ơi có ai. Giữa bóng tối chập trùng, tình anh như giấc mơ, xanh bao hy vọng. Dẫn lối bước anh về, dìu em qua đám cây. Xưa mây đen tan nhanh, trời bừng tia nắng tươi, lung linh ấm lòng. Khi cơn mưa vụt qua, tình yêu đưa ta thoát cơn phong ba bao giờ. Ôi lấp những đêm dài, mặt trời luôn chiếu soi cho em yêu đời. Xóa hết những nghi ngờ, tình yêu như khúc ca. Từng vòng tay chạm hơi ấm, rộn rã đôi tim mừng vui gặp gỡ. Trong ngày mới nắng say tình giấc ngọt ngào. Nắng em qua hàng cây, gió mơn màn đường lại lời hàn hương. Bước chân vui hạnh phúc, nắm tay ta về vùng trời bình yên. Ưu tư khát khao trong tim tháng ngày. Theo mưa rơi lạnh cam, từng đêm anh nghe xót xa, em ơi có hay. Giữa bóng tối chập trùng, tình anh như giấc mơ, xanh bao hy vọng. Dẫn lối bước anh về, dìu em qua đám cây. Xưa mây đen tan nhanh, trời bừng tia nắng tươi, lung linh ấm nồng. Khi cơn mưa vụt qua, tình yêu đưa ta thoát cơn vòng bà bao giờ. Khuya lắm những đêm dài, mặt trời luôn chiếu soi cho em yêu đời, xóa hết những nghi ngờ, tình yêu như khúc ca. Từng vòng tay trao hơi ấm rộn rã, đôi tim mừng vui gặp gỡ. Chờ ngày mới đang say tình giấc ngập lớn. Nắng lên qua hàng cây, gió mơn man mưa đã lời đàn bướm. Bước chân vui hạnh phúc, nắm tay ta về vùng trời bình yên.